welcome back to Naira's Smile. So I started a little book that I wasn't intending on reading. I have 100 pages left of Nevernight and I am just mind blown. So you're probably like, Naya, what happened to your TBR? We thought we talked about this. You created a February TBR and you're over here reading books that are, first of all, fantasy, which you're supposed to be reading romance this month. Second of all, not on your TBR. What's going on? Okay, so you know how I made that little TBR shelf over there? It worked. I was looking at my TBR shelf and, you know, this book was just calling to me. You know, when a book calls, I answer. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have a little sneak peek. You know, I'm just gonna read like a chapter just to kind of see what it's about, what's going on. 200 pages later. I have 100 pages left of this book. It is so good. I can't even, there's nothing I can compare it to because out of all the fantasy books I've read, I've never read a fantasy like this before. And also, I thought this was a young adult book. Turns out it's very adult. So just a warning out there, it is a high fantasy, high adult, E for explicit novel. I've read a lot of stories, a lot of fantasy novels that follow a main character that is an assassin or training to be some sort of assassin or killer. Sarah J. Maas. But no, I honestly have to say, if you think you are just over the whole assassin storyline, like, girl, come back, because Jay Kristoff is just changing the narrative. Basically, in this book, we're following our main character, Mia Corvair. I think that's how you say her name. I cannot pronounce her last name for the life of me. We're following her, and she's living in this, okay, I had a really hard time figuring out the setting of this book because it's so incredibly detailed, especially the beginning. Like, the first 120 pages was difficult for me to get through, and I almost DNF'd the book, but I was just so intrigued at, like, where it was going. It isn't until I read the back that it totally, like, the picture of the world just sort of solidified in my head. But it's described as a Japanese steampunk fantasy world, which like totally makes sense now because I was like trying, you know, it was a fantasy world, but it isn't like that Victorian era or, you know, that sort of historian inspired fantasy world. It definitely has like a new feel, but also like a steampunk vibe. But anyways, yeah, our main character, she is living in this city and her whole family was just murdered. Her dad was hung for being a traitor to the basically republic. Now her goal in life is to seek revenge for her family. She has been training for the past 6 years since her parents were killed to become an assassin, and now she is making the journey to the Red Church, which is like the assassin capital, which is like this famous school for assassins. So the first 120 pages of this book is just insane. Okay, like I had to reread the first 2 chapters twice, and thank you to everyone who commented and told me to just get through the beginning of the book because it totally changes. Like, I don't know what happened, but like Jay Kristoff, like his writing style completely changed once you get to book 2, which is 120 pages into this book. Once you get to book 2, which is like the beginning is kind of an introduction into the world and everything, and it's honestly kind of just like a huge info dump, and that's partially why I struggled to get through it a little bit. Like the biggest thing for me is like he throws you into the world and he already starts using metaphors where he compares things within the world to things that our characters are doing. And so, you know, being new to this fantasy world, you don't know like what anything is. So he'll say like, you know, it's as dirty as the Red Sparrow Kraken or something, and I'm like, what is a Red Sparrow Kraken? Like, we don't know what it is, right? It would be fine if he used this kind of language, say like in the 3rd book in the series where we know what everything is, and so we can like visualize what he's describing. He uses all these weird explanations that just don't make sense. So yeah, the first 120 pages was a bit confusing. Honestly, I felt like some of it was really unnecessary, but it gets so good, and like the characters in the world is so detailed. Like, I'm just in love with everyone and everything. This book is very violent, very like, it's the assassin book I never knew I needed, because a lot of the young adult assassin books I read are really kind of watered down, but this book is like, no, it is violent, it is gory, it is explicit. So yeah, a warning for the youngins. I have like this much left of the book, so my goal is to finish this today. Before we get into reading, I have all of these packages. It's so messy, oh my god. I have all these packages on my desk that really badly need unboxing, so we're gonna go unbox a few of those first, and then we'll get into finishing Nevernight. Oh boy. Oh my god, it's so messy. But the first thing I want to unbox is something that I've had for like a week now, and I'm so excited to share with you guys. This company called Scribbler Box reached out to me. I'll include the links to everything down below. But they sent me this book box, and unlike other book boxes that are made for like readers, this book box is made for writers. So in this box is a bunch of stuff that is supposed to help writers. But isn't it cool? Oh, also, do you guys want to see my new leggings? My new leggings. Can you see this? Ah! So I don't know if anybody watching is into astrology and stuff like that. These leggings were created by Amber Khan from The Quietest Revolution. I'll link her channel down below. Love them so much. But anyways, let's get into unboxing this. So, oh my god. Okay, so the first thing in here is this beanie. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to try and figure out a way to like get it to fit over all my hair. But it has a little typewriter on it. And the next thing in here is this little postcard thing, and it actually has a writing exercise on it, which is so cool. Oh my god, this is so cool. So in here is this little whiteboard, and it says storyboard on it, so you can like scribble down your ideas and stuff. But this is so cute. Oh my god, okay, I'm gonna have to organize my desk so that I can figure out where to put this on my wall. This is a little sampler notebook, and it has some examples of the publishing process, a little paragraph from a book and how editors sort of go through and edit and comment. This is so helpful. I'm actually gonna read through this because I've always been curious to see what the editing process is. Next thing in here is this sticker, and it says writer's gonna write on it, and I am absolutely putting this on my laptop. So there's this little envelope, and it says writer magic inside. So I'm going to open this. You're invited to an exclusive chat with executive editor Kristen Renz, February 13th at 1 p.m. Oh, there's this little passport book that talks about writing fantasy and how to write fantasy stories and things like that. After filming this video, I'm gonna go through and read all of these little things. Next thing in here is a little notepad with a pencil on it. And then I have two books in here, which is so cool, but I believe one of these books they sent to me just for me to read. So normally a box will only come with one book, I believe. First thing I have in here is Circle of Shadow by Evelyn Skye, the same author that wrote the little writing fantasy passport in here. A Society of Assassins, an Empire of Magic, a World of Secrets. How perfect timing is this book when we're having like an assassin themed video reading vlog going on right now, right? And then the next book we have in here is We Told Six Lies by Victoria Scott. This sounds like a psychological thriller, and I'm so excited because I love psychological thrillers. Thank you so much to everyone at Scribbler Box for sending me this lovely writer's box. I'm so excited to read these books as well as just check out all the informative packets and stuff. One of my goals in 2019 is to finally finish my book. Let's go back to reading Nevernight because I have 100 pages left. Okay, so it is much later in the day, a huge time jump as always. I currently have 33 pages left of Nevernight, and I am just procrastinating on reading it because I know what's gonna happen. I had an epiphany like 30 minutes ago. I realized why I enjoy this book so much. Honestly, I think it's the explicitness. Is that a word? Is it explicity or explicitness? I think it's a, you know what? We're just gonna Google this. Hold on. Because I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Explicitness. Okay, it's a word. And you know, a lot of times, I think I mentioned this earlier, authors, especially in young adult books, will kind of write around what they want to say. If it's some smexy time, or if it's like, you know, characters just cussing, authors will oftentimes write around it or say like, oh, I cursed under my breath or something like that, right? Instead of actually saying like, F you, or you know, whatever the curse word is. Not J. Kristoff. J. Kristoff is just like, everything is just in there and it's wonderful. Main character just, Mia cusses like a sailor and I love it. There is a bit of romance in this book, but not a lot. It's not the main plot of the story, which is also really nice. The author was able to really just write an amazing plot line and just have this character really go on a journey and not have the romance be the main part of the story. I think it's been a while since I've read a fantasy book where really the romance is not a big part of it. And for me, romance is something that really honestly gets me through the book, and I enjoy reading in fantasy. That was really surprising, the fact that there is a little bit of romance but not a ton, and that just overall the plot is the main thing that I love, not just the romance. Why do I swear, whenever I turn on my camera and I drink water, there's like no water left in my thing. Right now, I'm going to procrastinate some more and study my Japanese a little bit. 私は今、今年で決める日本の試験持つ No. Yeah, 持つない。受ける。日本の試験は持つ。日本の試験は受か。でも、it's been, how long has it been? 1年?1年勉強しなかった。私の文法と言葉と読むと聞くとめっちゃ悪いです。I've not studied since March of last year. 大学で勉強した。Taking introductory classes, which I was supposed to be in a level ahead of where I was because I'd already studied like on my own a little bit before I actually took classes in college. I haven't practiced. The one thing for me is like I have to like speak with someone in order to like remember things. Like my Japanese was so good. I was having I had a 15-minute conversation with my Japanese like a tutor that was available at the library at my school. Yeah, and now I'm just like struggling to string together a sentence. It's awful. Yeah, I decided this year is going to be the year that I go for the JLPT, which is like the Japanese language proficiency test. And there's 5 levels, so the super easy level is N5, which is what I'm studying for because I'm a wimp. I was almost at an N4 level last year, but your girl didn't study and has forgotten so much. All the language learners out there know the struggle of just like getting to a really good level in a language and then just getting really busy and not using it. And then several months later, you go back and you're just like struggling to just piece together a sentence. It's awful. So I got this like test prep textbook notebook thing. It's really short. This isn't for, I wouldn't recommend this if you're trying to learn Japanese from the beginning. Yeah, but majority of this is just in Japanese. The questions are in Japanese, just like the actual JLPT. There's like no English on it whatsoever, so all the questions that they ask you are in Japanese. So if you can't understand the question, you can't even like, you know, begin to start to comprehend the answer. I got this test prep book and I've been going through it and slowly everything is coming back to me. Anyways, I'm gonna study for a little bit and then we're gonna finish those last 33 pages and I'm not ready. Okay, so it is the next morning. It is really early, so I'm trying to keep my voice down. Last night, I finished Nevernight, and it was so good, and I did not like the plot twist at the end. I kind of semi-predicted it, but the details of it were like still surprising to me. I finished it and it was so good, and I just ordered the second book and it should be here in like 2 or 3 days with my Amazon Prime, so hopefully I'll get it soon. So my overall thoughts, okay, I think I'm gonna rate this book. I want to give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm gonna have to be fair here and deduct 2 points just from the beginning because like I said, those first 120 pages were rough, but everything after that was a 10 out of 10. I just want to read the second book now, and I am just patiently watching my Amazon Prime order status. Honestly, I think Jay Kristoff is better at writing fantasy than he is at writing, oh, actually, he can do sci-fi and fantasy, to be completely honest. Now I am going to start this bad boy over here, and I'm so excited. I decided to make this book its own vlog, so that'll be next. Like I said, I have 3 days until the second book comes, so I plan on getting into finally my romance TBR for this month. Anyways, thank you guys so much for following along. Until next time, keep reading, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!